Growth Masterclass or Dropshipping Q&A for the week. My name is Chris, otherwise known as the Conversion Crusader. And today what are we doing today? We are inviting all of the Freedom Class members into the Growth Masterclass. If this is your first time watching this, these will be advanced Shopify, Facebook ads, and everything else in between. I'm basically here to answer all your questions about the difficulties you might be having with dropshipping. Let me get all my students in and we'll get started. And we are live. Welcome, Freedom Club, to the Growth Masterclass. I have lots to show you guys today. Bear with me. Hello, Emily and Lucas. Zoe. I think I'll read that in a second. I wanted to talk you guys through. I'll wait for everyone to jump on in. We're going to do a little bit of a show and tell today. Now, sorry, my previous call ends up coming into this call a little bit. Tuesdays and Thursdays are tough. Because there's two streams. There's the product research stream and then there's the masterclass stream. It's like 3.5 hours of streaming. I usually get off and collapse. Just give everybody a couple more minutes. Email insights. There's two things that we're doing tonight. Now, just to set the expectation here, guys, I may or may not get into showing all of your questions tonight, depending on how long we take going through what I want to show you and then showing you the emails, okay? Because I promised you guys on Tuesday that I was going to show you how to make more money using emails. And I decided earlier today I'm going to show you guys how to make more money making better ads. So if everyone, we've got 10 people in, I think that's about it for this class usually. All right, let me just jump over to YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, say hello. All right, now what am I going to be doing for you? I'm going to be showing you guys. One second. Okay, let me get my screens in order here. I'm going to be showing you guys under the covers a little bit today. But I'm not going to share this particular spreadsheet with you. You can make your own spreadsheet. This is just a little bit too much of my own IP to just hand it to everybody, but I am going to show it to you. Morning, Jack. Morning, Beck. Oh, not morning. It's afternoon, evening for you guys. All right, so let me share my screen. I want to show you, first and foremost, my process for creating ads. Okay? You guys want to see my process for creating ads? Yes? Cool. I'm just wondering how I'm going to do it. All right. I'm going to talk you through this process. This process involves ChatGPT. But before we talk about show the actual cogs? I don't know. Before I show you under the covers, we do need to talk about ChatGPT really quick. Now, for those of you who don't have a premium account of ChatGPT, I highly recommend signing up for a $20 a month, or however much dollar it is, ChatGPT, because that gets you access to the models that work a little bit better. And to give you a little bit better ideas, they're a little bit more free flow and they work really well. But ChatGPT is not going to be the thing that writes your ads, especially your scripts if you're doing videos. ChatGPT, if you think about it, it's an amazing model that can do amazing linguistic things, but it's been fed all of the information, all of it, like so much information. And therefore, it is the best way to produce a spectacularly mediocre script. It does the best mediocre things ever. And anytime you ask it to write a product description or an ad copy or anything like that, you're going to get the absolute cream of the crop, most average piece of writing ever. So this doesn't replace you. If you use ChatGPT to write your entire emails or your entire web copy, product copy, or your entire ad copy, sorry guys, I'm a little bit tired today. My brain's not firing on all cylinders. If you use it to do those things, all you're going to get is mediocrity, the most spectacularly mediocrity thing you can get. But it's an amazing tool for helping us come up with fresh ideas and fresh things to do. So what I want to do right now is show you a spreadsheet that I put together and explain how I do this. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is my product ads template. Now this is advanced stuff. This isn't stuff that you're going to see inside the Freedom Club. This is not even something that I've shared with Austin. This is my own work over many years, over many courses, and talking to people who are far more better than I am and far even lower than I am, just coming up with the best ways to sell things. When we're going to try and sell a product, the very first thing that we have to understand is this thing here. I put this in all my spreadsheets just to remind myself. This is the formula of success. Every customer has a desired outcome that they want when they're looking at your product. And they multiply that desired outcome in their heads with their own likelihood of success of seeing that outcome, divided by the time, the effort, and really, if I'm going to be completely honest, the cost. So just remember that when you're trying to position a product and you're trying to create the best ads you can, dream outcome multiplied by likelihood of success divided by time, cost, and effort. If we can come up with something that satisfies that equation, we're going to have a killer ad. Now you're probably thinking, what does this all mean, Chris? Where is this going? Just bear with me, okay? Bear with me. All right. The first thing that I do when I have a product, and this is what I did for my magic wipe cloth, okay? This is why my magic wipe cloth has been doing so well. And it's had peaks and troughs. It's had times where it wasn't selling as much as it is now, but we're doing really well with it. We have a 6% conversion rate. We have a 10% add to cart rate. And applying this to all of my businesses has really helped. The first thing that I do is I go to ChatGPT and I say, this is my product. I give it a link to my product. I would share the chat with you guys of ChatGPT, but it's got too much in there to share. All of my secrets, right? So the first thing I do is I say, ChatGPT, here is a link to my product. Go and have a look at it. And I say, can you first tell me all of the different segments of people? Let me just give you I'll give you my exact thing. Just bear with me a second. Where is my research chat? Was this it? No, that wasn't it. Here we go. I think this was it. Okay. I should probably include in the future the actual ChatGPT chats that I use to build this. Okay. First thing I ask is this question right here. What groups of people are likely to buy my product and why? Catherine, you're excited to see where this goes? All right. Well, there's a reason why we wouldn't put all of this kind of stuff into the course, right? The course is designed to get you out there making money as fast as possible. I'm here to help you make as much money as possible and really squeeze the money out of people in an ethical way. So it's that what I just put in the chat there, that's my actual thing I say to ChatGPT. What groups of people are going to buy my product and why? And it gives me a list of people. It's given me homeowners and renters. And they've told me why. People who enjoy maintaining a spotless home will find this useful. Eco-conscious consumers. They want to reduce paper towel usage and use things that are reusable and sustainable. Minimalists and organization enthusiasts. Airbnb hosts and hospitality professionals. Parents and families. People with hard water issues. Cleaning professionals. Cool. So then from there, now you might notice my target audiences don't perfectly match that, but I break that down further, and I ask ChatGPT in the next chat, help me name these people. So I break it down. What words or names can I use for people who want to prioritize cleanliness? It's told me here: neat freaks, clean conscious individuals, hygiene enthusiasts, tidy perfectionists. I'm trying to come up with a nice nickname that makes them feel good about themselves, but stuff that they can hear in an ad or look at in an ad copy and go, ha, that's me. That's totally me. Or, that's totally my wife. I needed to tag her in this. These are not derogatory in any way. They've got to be uplifting names. And then I've asked it, give me more creative names. And we've got things like the Clean Team, the Sparkle Squad, the Tidy Tribe, the Neat Elite. Have some fun with this. And then from here, I'm using ChatGPT to build out names for all the people of the categories that it told me about later. So that's step one. Find nice names for the types of people who are going to buy your product. If you're in the dog niche, you might call out the people who like small dogs, the people who like large dogs, the people who like curly-haired dogs, the people who like hypoallergenic dogs. Start calling out the groups of people who might want to buy your product. I say dogs because I was just on a chat to one of the students today who was selling dog products, who I showed this to. Okay, so we go and I spend like half an hour with ChatGPT coming up with the best sounding target audience names I can. And then for each of these ones, and you might be wondering, how do I do this? Here's another example of a chat right here. Ways to say eco-conscious consumers. And it gives me a whole bunch more names. I find the ones that I like, I pop them into my sheet. Okay. Next, dream outcomes. Let me go through my chats here. If you're wondering what I'm looking at, I'm going through my chats with ChatGPT. 1 second, guys. Okay. This is my chat with ChatGPT to now start breaking down dream outcomes. Because if you ask me to sit down and come up with all the dream outcomes for all these people, I'm going to be like, I don't know. I get brain fog. I'm just like, I don't know how to answer that question. But if ChatGPT starts to like give me a couple of starters, I'm off. I'm off like a frog in a sock. So this is my next chat with ChatGPT. Please give me specific dream outcomes for people buying the Lush Living Magic Shine Cloth for perfectionists. And it gives me really solid. I'll give you an example here of what it spat out. Perfectly spotless surfaces every time. No streaks, no lint, no water spots. Every surface looks pristine and polished. You can see where this is going right now. We're starting to build some ads. Now, from here, I break down all of the dream outcomes that I really like. I go through each of these target audiences one by one and say the same thing to ChatGPT. Please give me specific dream outcomes for people buying this product. From here, I'm able to then list all the dream outcomes that I want to have in my ads. Okay? This takes about an hour, I reckon. A good solid hour to do the target audiences and the dream outcomes. And once you have this, you've now got a pretty good blueprint for how to sell your product. The next thing we need is the guarantees, the proof that you're going to be able to do this. This bit here, the likelihood of success, This is the multiplier. People want the dream outcome, depending on what customer group they're from. They want the dream outcome. Now we want to multiply that by the likelihood of success. And that's stuff like 500 or 5,000 plus happy customers. Super easy to use. We got guarantees. We've got works. So this is where you can put your head down and I guess put the magic sauce in your product. 97% of users say it cleans better than any microfiber cloth they've used. Where do you use these? These will be used in your ad copy. These will be used maybe in your product, in your description on your ad. Maybe you can find a small version of this one right here, and you can use that to as your headline. Okay, so all these things will be used in crafting your ad. Next, objections. These objections are great in your ad copy. They're great to use in your videos or scripts. They're great to use on your website. If you have any of these that you call out in any of your ads, make them prominent on your website so that you're answering all these questions. Remember how I always tell you guys, you need to answer all the questions that someone has before they even know they have it. Otherwise, they're going to leave your site. These are the types of things here. If you can counter every single objection someone has to buying your product, you're very likely to get that sale. And now, oh, and I use ChatGPT. Let me find you that one. One sec. Just go scroll through this massive chat I had with ChatGPT. Okay, here we go. Oh, that was Dream Outcomes again. One sec, guys. Okay, here we go. This is how I start coming up with some of this likelihood of success and objections. How can I convince my customers that they will have a higher likelihood of success with the Magic Shine Cloth? I literally, it gave me all of those. To be fair, I just copy and pasted most of these and then just added a few myself. Okay. One sec. Let me go through my chat a little bit more. Okay. Now, next stage. One sec. Putting it all together with this command right here. I need more ideas to convince customers that they will have a high likelihood of success for all ideal outcomes you mentioned above to use in ads. This is where it spits out examples of ads and how to convince. I'll give you a copy and paste here of what it spits out. One sec, I'm just trying to copy it. So that's an example of what it spits out. From there, we need hooks. This is the most important part of the entire spreadsheet here. The hooks. These are the things we mentioned in our videos. These are the things that we put into our images. And what I do is I look through each and because ChatGPT will spit out. I think it gave me 6, 7, like half a dozen of these explanations for how to sell. And from here, a lot of this can then become the hook. One cloth that works. Guaranteed, no streaks, no stress, just shine. One wipe is perfection, no streaks, no fuss. The cleaning hack that perfectionists swear by. Are these starting to sound like the types of things that you've heard in people's ads? Chemicals. No chemicals equals no worries when little hands touch surfaces. Mum approved. Kids safe, effortless cleaning. No chemicals, no waste, just a sparkling clean home. These sound like great things to pop on your images, right? Parenting is hard, cleaning shouldn't be. So this is the sweet harvest of all of this work, right? Now from here, you've got your hooks. You have two things that you need to do now. You can send all of these hooks to your image team or your image guy, and you can say, I need you to make me an image for every one of these hooks. Let them get to work. Maybe it's you doing it. Maybe you're in Canva. Maybe you're taking your Creative OS ads and you're using your hooks here to create your ad library, right? But then you go one step further and we can actually start creating scripts. So these are my AI scripts. First thing that I do is I choose my favorite hooks and I put them in the top. One of the reasons why I put all my hooks at the top of my script is because that way, when I'm buying an AI ad, with one credit, I can make a different video with a little bit of editing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different hooks here. So I've got a hook that says 1, why people's perfection, no streaks, no fuss. I've got a hook, I'm obsessed with the spotless bathroom and shower, but I hate scrubbing and harsh chemicals. And then I've got the meat and bones of the ad right here. So we have one for perfectionists, parents, and eco-minded. 3 separate scripts that I put together. Now ChatGPT didn't write the rest of this. I wrote the rest of this because ChatGPT writes terrible, terrible scripts. But it is prolific in coming up with ideas. So at the end of this, I've got 3 separate scripts that are going to produce 3 times 6 is 18 separate ads. Now I get to go and create and using CapCut, put 18 separate ads in, either using footage from UGC that I purchased or footage from something, say something Bilal has done for us. And I can put an AI actor in front of it. I can delete the background of her, or probably her because this is more of a female aligned product. And I've got now 18 ads to go test. What do you think Facebook is? Do you think Facebook is going to be happy with 18 video ads to test? I think it's going to love it. And someone who has seen one of these is going to see the next one, and the next one, the next one. The actress is going to be different because I've got multiple AI actresses. The headline is going to be different, so they're going to get triggered in their brain that they haven't seen this before. And we're not going to run into any type of problems with ad fatigue. Adana, can I put it in the YouTube chat as well? I can, but it's going to be tricky. 1 second. I'll pop these commands in. Okay. 1 second. So this is the first command here. Second command. Third command. Fourth command. And the 5th command. What's the command for the hooks? Well, let me find one. These hooks all came from the final command there, which was 1 second. It didn't specifically give me hooks, but it gave me this one here. I need more ideas to convince customers that they'll have a high likelihood of success for all of the ideal outcomes you mentioned above to use in ads. That's the command right there to get the. It doesn't give you the hooks exactly. It gives you a breakdown, and the hook will be inside of it. Now from there, we can do even better hooks. If you just give me a second. Okay. I found these hooks were great, but to get headlines, I like to use this hook here. I need 22 new ideas for a Facebook headline. It must contain magic shine, and it must have it must start at the headline. It must contain magic shine at the start of the headline, and it must be 25 characters or less in total. And then I give it the link to my product. I'll put that in oh, it's too big to go into. Here we go. That's my command there in the YouTube chat. Now that spat out a whole bunch of amazing headlines. Look, let me show you what it gave me. I'll just copy and paste these. And I'll put them over here. That gave me headlines like these. what I find with your Facebook headlines, you want a lot of them, and they need to tackle a lot of different problems for a lot of different people, but they've got to be short. You know why they have to be short? They have to be short because if you're using the Facebook optimization, you might have a few of your products to the right of your headline. If the headline's too long, you don't get to see the description. The description of the ad usually has like, 5,000 plus, what are they called? 5,000 plus reviews. So adding that trust in there, or it might have something else in there like, buy one, get one free ending today. So it's important to have the description visible in the ad. So we've got to make sure our headlines are really short and punchy. And what you need to do is you can't just copy paste these into your Facebook ad. You do have to copy paste them, but then you got to check, is it too big? And is this going to stop the description from showing? For what I do actually, for all of my ads use the same headlines. Some of the content in my ads will be made for different people, but the headlines will all be the same. Nice, short, punchy headlines. And no, I thought 22 was a nice number. I don't know why I wrote 22. I thought 15 was too short. I don't know, the last one that I did 25 before it. I don't know. You can put 100 if you want. It doesn't matter. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is my framework for making incredible ads. I've used it for Homecraftology. I've used it for Lush. I've used it for another couple of projects. I used it for clients. It's a scientific way of really understanding the people that you're going to be targeting and how to target them. No, don't pick one headline. Pick the best 5 or 6 and have them in your ads as options. You know how you can have multiple headlines? That's what we want. We want multiple headlines. You're welcome. I'm not sharing this template with you. Go and make your own template. Go and make it work for you. This works for me, but this is a little bit messy. But my brain is a little bit messy. Want me to zoom out? Make a template that works for you. Make one that you're comfortable with, that you understand what you're trying to do and achieve. If you're a bit of a neat freak, make it neat. If you're not, whatever. This is just got to be something that you understand. I like to start with my target audiences and then move my way across until I understand what my hooks are going to be, and then I can start writing my scripts. I put the scripts down here because they tend to be longer, and when I put the scripts up here, it made the cells too large and very hard to read. You're welcome. Which one has performed best so far? I'll be honest with you, I don't care. I really, really don't care, because Facebook's going to pick out of all of these potential winners which one is going to work for which person at the right time. If I go and even if I went through my Facebook ads data and say No More Streaks was the least performing one, chances are that Facebook would just not spend much money on it. And I wouldn't want to go in and re-edit my ads, because then it's going to go back into learning. So I mean, maybe that's not the best advice, but when you give Facebook more to work with, and you really dig in deep, and you understand your audiences and speak their language, then you're gonna have a better time. Now, I can tell you, doing ads this way, writing beautiful hooks, really understanding the dream outcomes of everybody, that helped me craft some beautiful ads that have actually outperformed all the other ads I've ever tried. Because using the freedom formula, you put your ads out there, that's great. They're probably going to convert. They're going to do nicely. But if you can make something that can convert double that, wow, then you've got something. Like, This website's converting at like 6% conversion rate. That's ridiculous. Doing this has even helped Homecraftology increase its conversions as well. All right. That's how we use ChatGPT to start making some money with your ads. Let's talk about emails. Now, OmniSend. How do I decide what information to include in the static ad? Okay, we'll talk about that for a second more. So what I do, I really don't decide. I'll give you an example. Give me a second. Let me find my link here. All right. I find with me, the less that I personally decide, the better my ads perform. I've got to take the feeling out. I'm here to run a business. I'm not here to bluff my ego to say that I make the best ads in the world. For me to do that, it's about scale. And not talking scale as in spend, it's scale as in how many ads can we put together. So when we've got all these hooks, I literally just say to my image guy, here's my ads. I give him a link to my Facebook ad library. Here's my top competitors over here. Here's my product store, and here's the images that you can use. And then I give him a list of my best hooks. And I say to him, go and make me 20 different ads that look similar to my competitors, similar to mine, with all of my amazing, well, not amazing, but all of my hooks. I literally don't care which ones of these work and don't work. I don't want to have too much input into the creative process. I hire a good creative guy to do these for me. We've sat together on Zoom and I've explained what I want him to do, and he goes off and he makes these. So whether or not one or two of these work or not, it doesn't matter. I put them all to Facebook. I use the same testing method that Austin teaches. I put these into a manual sales campaign, one at a time, doing broad targeting. I take the best ones with the best cost per clicks and the best CTRs, and I bring them all in, well, I bring the winners into an Advantage Plus shopping campaign. I'm running all these variations in CBO under one budget. Yeah, eventually. The first thing that I want to do is I want to test which ones have the best click-throughs. Some of these are going to fall flat. Some of these are going to be good. Some of these are going to suck. When I find the ones that are good, I tell him, these are the winners. Go and make me more variations of ones just like these. And he goes away and he does that too. And then we test those. The winners go into an Advantage Plus shopping campaign. The losers get turned off. My goal is to get 50 winning ads in my Advantage Plus shopping campaign. That's my goal. I've probably got 35 to 40 in there now. So I'm nearly there for Homecraft. It's a lot of work and it takes a bit of time. You don't want to go too hard too quick. If you want to testing, yeah, so the reason why I say you don't want to go too hard too quick, you need to get enough data to know whether or not an ad is going to work. So when I create my testing campaign, so it's a manual testing, a manual campaign with ad set budgets only. Each ad set has one ad in them and they're set to $10 a day. And I usually let them spend to like 20 to 30 bucks. So it's quite expensive. When we're testing 10 ads, that's a $300 cost. Now you might get a couple of sales out of that, but you might not. So it could almost pay for itself, but chances are it's going to be an expense that you have to wear. If you want to test 20 ads, that's going to cost you $600. And you want to let it run so that you have enough data. So how do I classify the winners, Bex asked. High CTR, yes. Low cost per click, yes. I don't care so much about conversions. Typically in a Facebook Advantage Plus campaign, there's going to be ads that are really good at getting the initial click, and then there's going to be ads that are really good at getting the conversion. Now, Facebook will know those ones, and it will determine which ad to show in which order to the right people. So just because and like you might have an ad with a really high cost per click and a really low CTR, but it happened to get a purchase, and you might get excited, but I challenge that. If it's got a really low CTR and a really high cost per click, it's not going to be good at scale. Just because it was lucky enough to get a conversion doesn't make it a winner. Was my craft store slow to begin with? I had none of this knowledge when I started my craft store, and I can't give you an accurate comment because it was a different time. And back then, I could literally have taken a video of a monkey and put it on Facebook and made sales. There was no challenge to Facebook back then in 2018. Was that when I started? 8 years ago? 5, 6, or 2017. Ever since iOS 14 happened in 2021, that's when Facebook got really, really hard. And that's when we have to start learning how to make better ads. Was Homecraft slow? For the first, say, 4 weeks, I may have got 1 or 2 orders a day. My product was terrible. My reviews weren't great. But I saw that there was potential and that the people wanted to buy this. So I doubled down and I added more and more designs to my website until Warner Brothers sent me a cease and desist notice for using too many Harry Potter logos and other stuff. So I had to then, really go through my website and only use images that my team have created or that I've actually purchased off a license for off the people who made them. Long story short, within, say, 6 months, we were bordering on profitable most days. Not making huge amounts of money, but bordering on profitable. Actually, no, within 6 months, we were making probably a lot of money. 6 months was a long time. Let me think back. My first few weeks, I remember just sitting in my bed with my wife every day, telling her, today we made money, $50. Today we lost money, $60. Today we made money, $40. Today we lost money, $70. So it was on, off. But I knew it was something. And then I implemented... See, it was at that point I joined a program. These guys here. Just so happen to have this here. This is Ecom Insiders by a group called Build, Scale, Grow. Back then, these were the only guys teaching e-commerce. And pretty much everything that you learn in the Freedom Club doesn't come from this, but because Austin's never done this course, but I've seen Austin teach a lot of the things that I learned from these courses here in the Freedom Club. So it captures everything you need. That's why I agreed to come here and start teaching you guys, is because there was so much of the right stuff. But when I joined that course, they taught me emails, and when I implemented emails, that's when the shift happened. That's when we were just bordering on profit to actually being sustainably profitable. Email implementation. And if there's one thing that I wish we could do more of in this course, it would be teaching you guys a lot better emails. Would I still run this testing strategy when the ticket price is 200? It's a big test spend when you have 10 ads to test with a CPA of 130. Well, your CPA is $130, maybe because your ads aren't quite right. I'm not telling you to spend to your CPA. I'm telling you to spend $20 per ad. And in the long run, you're going to want to have ads that perform, and you're going to want to know which ones perform and don't perform early, because if you just tittle-tattle along, putting the ads that you think are the best ads into your Advantage Plus shopping campaign and trying to scale and trying not to scale, you're going to be losing money in the long run anyway. You may as well take the hit up front and then know you've got great ads, and you know the CTRs are good, and you know the cost per clicks are good, and you're reasonably sure those ads are the ones to scale. Get that done, rip the band-aid off, and you feel much more confident about putting those into your Advantage Plus. It's got nothing to do with the price of your product. break even. Well, this is a strategy that you would do potentially after you've had a sale and you've confirmed you can sell the product with some basic ads. I'm not saying you go and do this for every single product. The first thing I do with my team when we have a new product, we get Bilal to go and make us some ads. And then we put those ads up. We test them for a few days. If we get a sale, great. If we think we're going to get a sale, great. If we get add to carts, if we get people signing up to the newsletter, we think we might have something. And then if we get one purchase, we're like, oh yeah, now it's time to go make some better ads. Doesn't matter how much the product costs. That's exactly what I would do. $20 might not tell you if this will work for your product, but at $20 will tell you if this has potential. If the CT, if the click-through rate is, if you do this right, some of my ads have click-through rates of 4 or 5%. I've got some ads with like a 6-7% click-through rate. I've got on Homecraftology, we've got ads with a 60-cent click. Now, if you can't make money selling your product with a 60-cent click, it's not the ads that are the problem. It's the landing page. Sorry, I'm getting fired up. Irritating. All right. Any more questions about crafting deliciously gorgeous ads? Other than who my ad guy is, because you can't have him. You have to go find your own. How do you find your own? Go on to upwork.com, make an account, put up an ad for a job for a rockstar e-commerce ad creator, and go find someone who makes ads that look like this. That's right, Damon. We're only testing ad metrics. There's so much more at play when you're trying to sell a product than just having a great ad. We got to also make sure that we have a great landing page, and you can't test both at the same time. If I'm getting really good click-throughs from my ads, and I'm getting good cost per clicks, and that's all going well, and I'm not getting conversions, it's either a bad product or low demand for the product. But if the click-throughs are high, and I'm getting add to carts, then probably there is demand. But we'd have to look at what else is there. What else from my sheet? What else from the objections am I missing? If we've done this sheet beforehand and we know the objections, these are the kind of things we want to have on our landing page to stop people from thinking that this isn't going to work from them. Emily, you've spent $78 on an ad and it's at 89 cents cost per purchase? Only three. Hold on, what do you mean? Doesn't make any sense. But if you've spent $78 on an ad and you've had 3 sales, isn't that like a $30 cost per purchase? Catherine, if you're spending $20 to $30 on and the CTR and cost per click are looking great, but no purchase, do you leave the ad running and keep testing for a bit longer? Yeah, I do. Like, if I'm running that at a high budget and I'm losing tons of money, I probably lower the budget, because the problem's not with the ad. Problem is not with the ad. If my ad metrics are looking great, I've got to look elsewhere. It's got to be something I've missed. It's got to be trust on the website. It's got to be not selling the unique benefits of the website. Look, guys, I'll show you one thing, right? Sometimes we forget the product image with the benefits. It's so simple. When you look at my website, don't think for a second that any of the bells and whistles in this theme are what's making this sell. It's not. When you break this down, the things that are on this website, yeah, there's some nice elements. It's the things that are on it that are already built into the Freedom theme itself that sell it. The unique, the benefits here, the benefits here on the product image, the good quality product images. Clean design, which you can absolutely do clean designs without bells and whistles on the Freedom Club theme. The GIFs, making sure that they're here. It is nice to have some videos on your store if you want to, but you don't have to have them, but it is nice to have them. Testimonials, a nice thing here describing trust Us versus them, guarantee. It's not about the theme. It's about the content. That's what the most important thing is. When I changed this product image up here, I went from a 6% conversion rate to a 3% conversion rate. I wasn't happy just having a good conversion rate. I wanted to keep testing. So I went through and tested a whole bunch of different product images so that I could understand what the customers needed to see. I had a crappier version of this the other day. It wasn't quite as neat. Got a 5% conversion rate. We neatened it up, 6% conversion rate, just from the product image itself. The second thing that makes this particular website convert so highly, I think, and this is just my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think it's this thing here. Jess, you got to run, pick up your boy. $30 a minute or something, fine. Oh, damn. Yeah, go get him. You can watch this on the replay. This here, guys, I know you guys all have a lot of bundles, but it's how you position your bundle as an offer to make the conversion rate so high. How I'm telling people you get a free magic shine cloth, 2 free magic shine cloths, 3 magic shine cloths, plus 55% off and a bulk discount. How do I get such nice crisp product images? My image guy. I've worked with him. I've showed him what I want. I've showed him... I can't do these. I try. My images look like a 3-year-old got into Canva and drew some crayon on the screen. My images have such low conversion rates. I've given up. But my image guy, he does this day in, day out. Not just for me, but for other people too, probably. I sit him down, I get him on a Zoom call. I show him examples of what I want. If you guys want, you can show yours an example of this if you want. And I say to him, we need to make images like this. He goes away and he does it. The ones that I like, we use. The ones that I don't like, I'd give him the feedback. And it's a cycle, working together. Upwork is absolutely the answer, Darcy. Not just Upwork, but clear communication. So make sure you got someone who understands what you want, who can communicate with you back and forth, and who's happy to jump on a call so you can describe what it is that's missing. I mean, if you look at Homecraft too, this is the same image guy. Very different style. Not just add the text. Well, he made the image. Take it back there. He made all my images. We found an image of my product of a woman holding it, and he's able to take it out of the image. He's put probably AI generated bathroom images here. He does it all. And Bilal does that too. So this entire image was created by him, not just the text. That's how I do it at scale. Because it does take scale. Oh, you're welcome, Damon. It was about time we had one of these calls, hey. I'll have to get my video guy to like see if he can make this into a 8-minute YouTube video or something. It's probably a good idea. All right. Let's move on. Emails. There's a few more questions coming in. I'm going to pop this over here for a minute. Any more questions before we move on? And just to let you guys know, these same things that I teach you guys, I do these for my very big clients. We have a clothing brand that I was able to take from a 0.8 CTR to a 1.6 CTR. Now for them, that's doubling the amount of clicks that they're getting, doubling their sales just with a few key changes to how we do the ads there. Excuse me. Zoe, you're currently working on picking your winning ads, turning off losers, and testing new creatives in their place. I said to duplicate all the winning ads into one manual campaign. What do I do if the audiences are different amongst the performing ads? Okay, so different stages, right? If you're at the first stage of testing, that's the only stage you should be testing audiences. Once you've had, say, 20 to 50 purchases, your pixel should be well seasoned to sell that particular product to a broad audience. You only really need to do audience testing when you really start off with a brand new product in a brand new store. It's just a temporary thing. Facebook wants to get you in. Yeah, Mia, go onto Facebook and just watch it from the very beginning. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss this one. You absolutely don't want to miss a single second of it. So jump onto YouTube. Here's a link to the video right here. Go watch it from the start. So we're only doing audience testing at the very beginning of our journey with a brand new product. Once we have established 20 to 30 sales, we should probably be able to do a broad campaign with no targeting whatsoever. So to answer your question, what should you do with the other audiences? Well, depending where you are in your journey with this particular product, with this particular brand, with this particular ad account, what I might do is add all of my winning audiences into the one campaign. And then pop in all my winning ad copy into that one campaign with all of those audiences inside there. Now, won't all the ads compete for the budget and the audiences and essentially be starting it from scratch? Absolutely they will. Yeah, that's the look. Guys, ugh. I don't know how many times I've explained this. I really don't. Let me explain it one more time. Damon, yes, use audience testing if you have a new pixel for sure. Although, I mean, it depends on the product. I tend to personally not do audience testing anymore. That's my personal preference. I like my products to work on broad, because broad is essentially where we're going to get going. But I have a lot more capital to start investing in testing new products. And for new, it might be more expensive to get a broad campaign converting. So if this is a new product and you don't have a lot of capital and you want to get things done quicker, then you probably want to do a little bit of audience testing. Okay. Let me break this down for you guys. And that's right, Mia. It does depend if it's super niche-y. It does depend. I can't give you the answer for every single product out there. All right. I'm going to say this one more time. And I bet you this won't be the last time I say it. And please forgive me if I get a little bit fired up. I get fired up. All right. Where's my Homecraftology account? Okay. Hopefully this loads up my account and not a client account. Homecraftology, good. All right. Let's take a look at my broad testing. You guys can all see the screen, yeah? So these are my previous tests that I used to determine which of my ads were the best. Each site, so this was a manual sales campaign, no targeting whatsoever, just broad as the horizon, I guess you could say. Nothing special at all in here. No campaign advantage no campaign budget spending, just a regular old manual sales campaign. And in each ad set, we have $10 a day. And that's it, really. Just $10 a day. There's nothing special here at all. Just targeting my best countries. For you guys, that's Australia. For me, I mean, this company's been around a long time. I know I'm able to expand out to other countries. I know they work. For you guys, you probably just want to stick to Australia. Inside my actual ad set, there is only one ad. And all I'm testing is whether or not this ad has a good CTR and a good cost per click. That's all we're testing here. Does this ad work for clicks and for CTR? If it happened to get sales, bloody brilliant, I'll take that, but that's not what I'm testing here. If we go and look at maximum data, start to see. For most of, like some of these ads, I let them spend because I was probably busy that day. But for most of these ads, we only spent like 30 bucks for some of these and 20 bucks for some of these before I knew. And look, we did make some money. Made some pretty serious money on some of them, like a 6.7 ROAS. That's fantastic. But we look here at the, where is my proper CTR? There's no proper CTR in this one. CTR. We're getting some seriously good CTRs here. Look at this stuff. Cost per clicks, wonderful. All under $1.50 mostly. Anything that looks good, it goes into my Advantage Plus. Anything that looks bad, well, none of these look particularly bad, but some of these are probably left off because the cost per clicks on this one, pretty high. It's not a winner. Cost per click here, a little bit high. It's not a winner. I've got way better ads. I'm looking to take my better ads in. I'm not looking to have the best of the best of the best of the best. This isn't an all-stars. This is just which of these ads are likely to be my best and pop them all into Advantage Plus. On the Advantage Plus side of things, well, that $1 million in spend nearly over the last couple of years. Crazy. On my Advantage Plus, actually you can see here, wow. This is my new campaign that I just launched yesterday. $24 purchases. Yes. Yes. This is the first time I've actually looked at the results. Ah, that's great. Okay. For my Advantage Plus, we have all of them sitting right in here. Happy as day. Just working together to get those conversions. And you can see, yeah, I've turned some off over time. Turned some off. Honestly, back when I turned these off, I don't know what I was thinking. There's probably a few mistakes there. But anyway, that's another story for another place. When we look at the amount spent, yes. Let's look at the maximum data. Well, not maximum. We'll look at the last 30 days. Yes, Facebook is highly skewed towards 2 or 3 particular ads. $6,000 spent on one ad, and the purchase is $40 per purchase. Facebook is going to pick what it thinks is your top of funnel ad, and it's going to use metrics under the covers, things like engagement, things like clicks, things like shares, things like metrics that you and I don't even know, complicated AI metrics and modeling to figure out which ad inside of this campaign is your top of funnel ad and which ad in this campaign is going to be your bottom of funnel ad. Now, you might be tempted to turn off the ad with the most spend because it's giving you the most expensive purchases. But the most important factor is not the most spended ad, it's your average down here. That's the most important thing. Can you put up with this average down here? Is $35 too much for you, or is it okay that you're going to make money on that? If it's too much, we need to figure out how we can bring that down. If it's not too much, we're great. Do I still use middle of funnel? For some businesses I do, for some businesses I don't. I always test middle of funnel, and if it works, great. If it doesn't work, I turn it off. For Homecraft, it's working at the moment. The question I have though is, this price here would probably come down if I turned off my middle of funnel. If I'm being completely honest, it would probably come down to about $30 per purchase if I turned off middle of funnel. Because some people who are middle of funnel of this campaign I'm going to get targeted in my middle of funnel on Facebook. Now, what if Facebook actually tells you to do, and I haven't tested this out yet because I don't want to change anything right now. Facebook is starting to advise us to put middle of funnel audiences inside the audiences here. Make sure that you edit your advertising settings to put your middle of funnels in here. That way Facebook will know. And I think when you start this, you can actually put your engaged audiences in here. how do I determine how much to spend in my middle of funnel? Just depends if it's making money. If it's making money and my cost per purchase is good, spend more money. If my cost per purchase is too high, spend less money. So we might be looking at this and say G1 giving us $40 purchases, A1 spending a lot less. It's only spent $2,000, but it's $27 per purchase. So I could potentially turn off G1 here and maybe shave a little bit off. But if I do that, I do run the risk of potentially putting this ad set back into learning. Potentially. Now, I have made changes to ad sets before that have been out of learning and they've stayed out of learning. But my advice to you guys is be very, very careful, because if this is making you money and you do touch it in any way, turning an ad off, there is a chance that you can actually put it back into learning and start pulling your hair out because your cost per purchase becomes erratic. Now, my cost per purchase is around $35 most days. Some days it's a bit cheaper. Some days it's a little bit more expensive, but on average, it's around about this price. It's very, very, very consistent. And Facebook, out of all of this, has figured out the exact right mechanisms or the exact right order to show my ads to people to get that purchase. Now, the only one I've turned off is this L4 here lately, because it didn't spend that much money. It only spent $100, so it's at my lowest spending of all of them, and it only got one purchase. So I just decided to turn that one off. Was that the right call? I'm not sure, but it only had a 1% click-through rate compared to the others. So it was on the chopping block. And at $2 per click, when I'm getting, a lot of these at around $1, I decided to turn it off. Luckily, when I did, it didn't go back into learning. Right. So if I was to add all of those new creatives in that my image guy did, if I added them all into this campaign, there is probably a 80% chance that this would go back into learning. I say 80 because I literally just did that on one of my other businesses today or yesterday. I duplicated the ad. I put my new images in, and it didn't go into learning. So I don't have a proper answer for you about when Facebook decides to put a campaign back into learning. I wish I could tell you the exact reasons and when it would do that, but unfortunately it's a bit of a black box. So I don't want to touch this. This is making me profit. If I touch this, I probably can't pay my rent next week. Well, I can, but I'd be earning a lot less. If this is making me money, I don't want to touch it. Instead, what I did was I duplicated this Advantage Plus shopping campaign into a brand new one right here. I changed the dates. Let me show you the last 2 days of this one. I changed the date in the title to remember what I was doing. So this is new Advantage Plus shopping campaign, 19th of the 3rd, just started yesterday. This has got all of my old ads in there, plus all of my new ads in there. You can see here we're learning on this one. But already, because I've given it so much new stuff, Facebook loves new stuff. Facebook really, really, really loves new stuff. When you feed Facebook, it rewards you. And Facebook has given me a $28 per purchase right now. That's ridiculously good. That's amazing. So this one is running right now at $200 a day, starting off on a very small budget for me. And my plan is, over the next 3 to 7 days, we slowly increase the budget of this one if it's performing well. If my new campaign with all my new ads is performing well, I slowly increase my budget and slowly decrease my budget over time of my old campaign. This was at like $600 a day. I'm just gently bringing it back down. I do not want to kill it, because if all hell breaks loose and my new campaign stops working, I want to be able to bring this one back to life and keep my income coming in. If I change the budget by no more than 20%, it shouldn't go back into learning. And if it does, I'll come back on this call and I'll start crying. No, I'll just start whinging. I'll go off on a rant. Just reading your replies here now, guys. Duplicate campaign. With added new creatives, run both, see which one is better. That way you have your, yeah, exactly, Mia. That's exactly right. You're doing this too, Jess? Great. This is the smart way of doing it. Yes, this is time consuming. Yes, it's hella boring. Yes, I sat here for 2 hours yesterday duplicating bloody ads and uploading bloody images. And yes, I wanted to not do that. Go watch some Netflix. But you don't do this very often. You just gotta be patient and do the work though, sometimes. So, what I'm expecting is to see this cost per result come down and hopefully start to scale this new campaign. If it doesn't work, I can turn off some of the losing ads in here while this is still in learning. Like, if this is still in learning, right, I don't get particularly worried about changing stuff in it while it's in learning. If it's going to be like 40 out of 50 and I'm like, oh, I just want to turn one of those ads off, I might not turn the ad off. But if we're up to like, 15 out of 50, 20 out of 50, and I'm like, oh man, one of these ads in here is just not working. It's just outspending. The cost per clicks are too high. It's not working. I might be inclined to turn it off. But be careful. Facebook will favor an image. You can see how right now it's not favoring anything too much just yet. But it will get to the point once it's finished learning and testing it's got to test every single one of these ads. It'll get to the point where it picks a winner and most of the budget will go to that particular one. You will naturally have a higher cost per purchase on the ad that it spends more money on. Whatever you do, don't feel like you have to turn it off. If its cost per click is lower than the rest and it has a higher cost per purchase, there's a good chance that that's your acquisition ad. That's the ad that most people are seeing to come to your website and view your product. And most people don't purchase the first time. You might see ads that have spent a lot less that have like a $10 cost per purchase. And you're like, wow, that ad's amazing. I should just turn everything else off and focus on that ad. But that ad only works on warm customers. Just remember, the most important thing is your average cost per result down here, not your individual ones. So only turn off an ad if it's clearly spending way too much money for a terrible cost per click and a terrible CTR and a terrible cost per purchase. Then turn it off. And if you want to make big changes, duplicate it and make big changes in the next one, in the duplicated one, and test out your changes there. And all of this is if you're in the scaling stage. If you're just in the messing around type of stage, if you're just trying to scale, you can go and change things. That's fine. It's just every change you make, you reset this learning bar back to 0. That's all. And for me, I've got to be very careful because I have a tendency to go in and change things. One of the hardest things for me is just to sit here every day and watch it. But I have to. I have to sit here and watch it. I have to let this thing optimize. And hopefully my cost per purchase goes even further down. Does this make sense to everybody? Any other questions? Any questions on YouTube? Jessica, it feels expensive running $200 to $300 a day in testing. Thankfully, your testing has been profitable. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to start testing 10 images. You can start testing 5 images. Depends on your budget. That's why sometimes I'm reluctant to show my account, because I do have higher budgets than a lot of you, but I don't have higher budgets than all of you. I know some people out here who are spending way more than I am on ads. It's okay. Listen, guys, if you're seeing people in the Freedom community and they're doing really, really well, congratulate them. Just remember, every single product will have a peak and a trough. Just remember that. Homecraftology has had peak, trough, peak, trough. And right now, I'm coming back into what's looking like a really slow, stable peak. It does depend on how aggressive you need to test, and you do not need to be aggressive. You don't. You can be as passive or aggressive in this as you like. The most important thing is that you understand your own strategy. And if you go about this without if you're just plodding along trying to copy kind of what I'm saying, but you're not quite understanding it, just watch a video like this 2 or 3 times and try to get in your head the exact map of what you're doing, because you will end up spending more money doing a half-assed job at building data that is meaningless unless you understand not just what to do, but why. Thanks, Jess. Yes, understood. You meant once you scale from test, you can skip the manual audience scaling campaign and just straight... Yeah, exactly. Just straight to Advantage Plus if you want. Danielle, just to clarify, you were just saying that any changes we make within an ad campaign will send us back into square one again? Potentially, yeah. With each change. So look, if I go into my best winning ad right now, like Facebook set me a set of rules, and apparently if I follow these rules, my campaign won't go back into learning. But I turned one ad off and it went back into learning. So now I'm afraid to even just turn ads off, honestly. Any change you make to any of these ads may, or more importantly, may not go back into learning. So like I said yesterday, I was in an ad account with a product that I didn't care too much about. I would have preferred not to go back into learning, but I didn't really care so much. The budget wasn't that high, and I just wanted to make my ads better. So I duplicated 10 of my ads, added all my new ad images into that account, and went live. And it didn't go back into learning. Or maybe it did by now. Maybe it did. Let me check. Bet you it has. Oh, it did. It did. Of course it did. Yeah, like you could literally just blow some air on these things and it goes back into learning. Damn. You just look at these ad sets in the wrong way, they go back into learning. Danielle, I promise you your ads have been in learning. I promise you. Look in your ad set and you see it right here. In the ad set, delivery on this one is active. My new campaign right here. If you go and look at my campaign here, my delivery is learning. This happens to everybody. Guys, we didn't get a chance to do emails today. What I gave you was a fair bit more beneficial. We'll do emails on Tuesday. That'll give me a bit of time to go and actually figure out what I want to show you guys in a bit more of a structured pattern. How does that sound? Saffron, you've never left learning is probably because everything I've discussed. Yeah. Thing is, I've discussed this over and over and over again, and maybe I'm just not putting it in the right way to help people understand. Sounds good? All right. You guys are welcome. I'm going to see if my video editor can put this all into a nice video. He's going to watch an hour and a half of me berating on to you guys and see what he can come up with. If I remember where I was back when I was in your shoes, I probably needed to hear things 4 or 5 times. Honestly, I think I did. It took you look at me now and I'm just, saying these things off the back of my hands, but it took me a long time to learn all of this stuff. It took a lot of hard lessons. I lost a lot of money. Made a ton of money, but obviously spend a lot of money figuring a lot of this stuff out, just like Austin. And that's probably put me where I am today. So, I understand. You got to hear things in many. You got to hear the same thing said many different ways for you to understand something. I hope that we're getting there. And please let me know if there's anything that's, that's not beneficial, or if there's anything that you want to learn. We might do this lesson a couple of times, and I'm going to continue, I guess, improving the way I use ChatGPT. And when I make improvements, I'll do another presentation and maybe come up with a way that's a lot easier. I'll probably take my ChatGPT template. I might create a better template. It might be something that people can download off my website or something. Potentially. Yeah, it was a lot of information. We were going to do emails and ads, but we'll have to split it up. Otherwise, I'm going to be here till like 10:30. All right, ladies and gentlemen, go and get to work. Go and prolifically make your ads. Go and make some money. And I will be back on Sunday for more product research. Until then, I'm sorry to anybody who just sucks how bad ChatGPT is for the environment. Because is it bad for the environment? Oh, that sucks. Renee, are they inactive before they're in learning? When you no, well, I mean, you gotta be careful because your campaign's active, but your ad set will be learning. And what was I gonna say? It was something important. I can't remember. Oh well. Anyway, let's end the call for tonight. Mia's got to go watch Gilmore Girls, so I'll see you guys on Sunday, and have a great rest of the week, guys. All right, see you guys. And for anyone still watching on YouTube, thank you for tuning in.